Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So we have some XRP news, Bitcoin, Ethereum. We have some commodities news, a little bit of different type of commodity news today. And we have some bank news, a lot of crazy things going on with the banks. But we're going to begin here with this article. And haven't we been talking about this for the last year and a half? I told you. So Ripple has made a major announcement. It's got a lot of people excited, apparently, even though, once again, we've been talking about this on the channel for quite some time. Message going to be expanding in Africa. Right. And it makes perfect sense. I said this before. With all the raw, untapped potential in Africa, a lot of African nations being more willing to survey for more commodities than ever before. They're sitting, some of them have said they're sitting on top of record amounts of certain commodities like gold that haven't even been taken out of the ground yet. So you pair that, right? You pair that with the big push, not only from Ripple, but they were doing this majorly in the beginning of the year, but from other companies talking about the tokenization of real world assets. You combine those together, we're talking about big money. They're not dumb. They see the potential over there, not only in Africa, but this is what this article is going to be about, but in Latin America as well. But we'll get back to that another time. Now, this article is titled XRP price surges. Wait. Let me scroll up here. XRP price surges 9% as Ripple unveils plans for expansion into Africa. We called it again. I was talking about this a lot last year, the importance of Africa. You can go in the members only section and see videos about that, but anyway. It gets me excited when we make the right calls around here. But the price surge, whatever it is, it says it's up 1% in the week. That doesn't matter. It's all about that future explosion, the build up towards it. Everything is leaning in the favor of a massive explosion in the future. Just my humble opinion. It's not financial advice. You make up your own mind how you feel about these things. But it says XRP is now up 1% in a week and by 3.5% in the last 30 days. With major alts also sitting on a modest 16% increase in the past year. Like I said, that doesn't make any difference. That's inconsequential, especially you take one light catalyst. I think it's a light catalyst, in my humble opinion, Bitcoin popping off when it skyrockets. And I believe that it will. That's just my humble opinion. You don't have to agree. But when Bitcoin goes off, things are going to absolutely tear the sky apart. With how much is going to skyrocket, people will see. Those who lived through the last true bull run, they understand where it's going to go. So this is nothing right now. It's just a build-up, consolidation, a little bit of fun from time to time. Nothing major. This pales in comparison to the returns posted by other major tokens. Yeah, like I said, inconsequential. Ripple's MD for the Middle East and Africa say that the firm plans to expand deeper into the region. The XRP price could see sustained rallies in the coming months. It all depends, This type of news, I'll say this, and this is one thing about the bank coins people have to know, utility coins. Good news like this, only a few people understand it. Only a few people get excited about it. Right now, the climate of the world, this is not going to, I just don't see this making the price pump. I don't see that happening. The people don't take things like this seriously, the real world stuff, until that value starts coming in. Right now, the bulk of people, they take prices going up serious. That's it. Like if the price is going up, if they've seen it go up multiple times before recently, it's a what have you done for me lately type of world. I get it. I understand. But that's what's going to pump things. Maybe the court case ending that will pump something. Sure. But good news like this, and this is great news, by the way, great news. No, I don't see this being a major catalyst right now in the short term. Long term, this could be huge. If they play their cards right, this could be huge. XRP's chart is looking promising today. All right, let's get back to that. What else do you have to say about Africa? Come on now. Is that all they said? Oh, here we go. Thank you. It says, there are also fundamental factors at play, with Ripple announcing this week its plans to launch custody services in the MENA region. We've been covering the MENA region for quite some time. Atajari Wafa, one of the banks Ripple works with. QNB, another bank over there. We covered a bunch of banks over this last 2 years that they have great relationship with in the MENA region. It says, and deepen its presence in the region overall. So look, everything that they do at Ripple right now is pointing towards absolute domination. And when I covered that article a few days back, where someone from Ripple was talking about, well, tokenizing everything, doesn't that sound just like all the money? Listen, once again, I'm not saying they could take all the money in the world. They'll move all the value. I'm not saying that. But it's the mentality that is important when you're looking at future potentiality for price rises, right? You need a solid team that believes in the idea behind the product that's going to push the product. And then if the product works well, then that price increases. The more utility, the more price increases. The more it's used, the more price increases, the more value comes in. But that's all tied to whoever's using it, right? So you have to understand their mentality. And when they say, well, we're going to tokenize everything, we're looking at everything in the world being tokenized, that is literally just paraphrasing all the money. All the money never meant all the money. It really was a very basic way to say all the value, right? And that's what they're going after. It's not just Ripple. They're just the ones that speak like that the most, But anyway, now let's move on here. That was pretty good, in my humble opinion. I hope you're having a good Saturday. All right. So this article here with a little Bitcoin article is titled 3 Factors Will Fuel Bitcoin Breakout. Dollar dump. Did you see what China did? Huge amounts of dollar dumping, dollar dump, surging debt, and M2 money supply. We're always here talking about the M2 money supply for about 2.5 years now. 2.5 years now. I'm telling you, people better watch out and better protect their value. It says, when analysts attempt to predict how Bitcoin will perform in the future, most look at its price action and use technical indicators such as the RSI and Fibonacci retracement levels. Others focus on fundamental indicators such as the Bitcoin halving, circulating supply, and network hash rate. For Jamie Coots, chief crypto analyst at Real Vision, the best indicators of Bitcoin's future performance are the M2 money supply, smart person, keep your eye on that right there, and performance of the US dollar, the DXY. It says, which measures the dollar's value compared to a basket of 6 dominant global currencies. Quote, the global money supply index tracks M2 money aggregates from 12 of the world's largest economies, all in USD, unquote, Coots said on X. Quote, in our fiat credit-based financial system, the money stock often moves in one direction. Significant drops like in 2022 are rare and typically brief. All right, I want to highlight this stuff. I'm telling you. There's something going on, and it hasn't happened since the last depression and depressions. The only time it happens is in depressions, not recession, depressions. Now, if people really want to go by the idea that men lie, women lie, numbers don't, even though that's really ridiculous because who controls the numbers but men and women? Whoever controls the ideas, who controls the numbers, who controls the histories. Yeah, they can shape them however they want. And who is there to really audit that and question that? But anyway, if you want to go by that idea, then the M2 money supply says we're in a depression, folks. All right. Quote, currently, there is a sea of red across my macro and liquidity dashboard, unquote. He noted, quote, but signs are emerging that this is about to change. Global M2 is currently neutral and holds the key for the next leg of the cycle, unquote. Coots said that of the 3 main measures he tracks in his, quote, Bitcoin/liquidity framework, unquote, central bank balance sheets, global M2 and DXY, quote, global M2 appears to capture the most of the moves. I agree with that. Quote, the rate of change in money supply is more important than the nominal value, unquote, he said. Quote, the chart confirms what our MSI performance table suggests. Bitcoin usually moves with shifts in M2 momentum. Coots noted that momentum is currently, quote, sluggish, unquote, for the global money supply MSI indicator, quote, despite being in an uptrend, unquote, and said that in order, quote, for a breakout from the 2.5-year pattern of monetary contraction and a bullish MSI signal, momentum needs to increase. All right. He highlighted 3 factors that, when combined, could help achieve this goal. Quote, dollar depreciation Come on now. You know that. What are they doing right now but depreciating the value of the dollar? That's a given. Credit expansion. You think that's not going to happen? Come on now. And increased government debt issuance. We going for guarantees here? Because you do know that's going to continue, sir. It says, quote, improving credit conditions are key. I hate to break it to you, friend. I don't think they're going to be improving anything. I'm just saying. Across the board, from the top to the bottom, the credit situation is absolutely ridiculous. It says, quote, M2 in the U.S. is about to turn positive on a 12-month basis, the first time since 2021. This could lead more countries to follow in the coming months. Unquote. We'll see. This is all speculation. We shall see. He added that, quote, corporate bond spreads versus the U.S. 10-year Treasury are crucial for monitoring credit conditions, unquote. He said, quote, these spreads have closely aligned with major Bitcoin cycle inflections over the past 5 years. All right, we're going to leave that one there. And I'm quite sure that, more experts will be talking about the M2 money supply once again very soon. So then we'll have some more data and information to compare. Lately, the Motley Fool has been trying to keep up with it a lot, even though they got in a little bit late. We were covering M2 money supply before Motley Fool got in. They got in like last year, start covering it heavily. It looked like about September, October, around there. But they've been doing a good job. So maybe we'll hear something from them a little bit soon. We shall see. And then we'll compare information. All right. So now let's move on here. We have a little bit of Ethereum. A little bit of Ethereum news for all my Ethereum people out there. I know a lot of our subscribers here, they are Ethereum enthusiasts. All right. So this article here is titled Ethereum price rallies above 3.1K after unexpected regulatory victory. Really, there was a victory? Tell me about it. What victory happened? Let's scroll down here. Now you really have my interest. Okay. Ether price rose by 5.5% on May 17th. Nearing $3,100 for the first time in 10 days. Analysts attributed this rally to a decrease in demand for fixed income instruments following stagnant United States retail sales data in April. This data increased the market's expectation of a potential interest rate cut by the U.S. Federal Reserve to boost the economy. Expansionary measures by the central bank are typically seen as bullish for risk-on markets, whether due to an increased monetary supply or reduced credit costs for businesses and individuals. Investors sought exposure to scarce assets, including cryptocurrencies, leading to gold reaching $2,410. I love gold. I really do. I'll leave it at that. Just 0.8% below its all-time high. Ether's surge was also driven by a U.S. Department of Justice indictment unsealed on May 15th. The indictment accused two individuals of wire fraud and money laundering by manipulating the Ethereum blockchain. The document stated that, quote, Ethereum is a decentralized blockchain without the need for a trusted intermediary, unquote, and added, quote, no central actor runs the Ethereum network, unquote. Additionally, the court noted that Ethereum smart contracts enable transactions without a trusted intermediary. These statements boosted Ether investors' confidence, especially after the U.S. SEC issued a Wells notice to the trading platform Robinhood on May the 4th over alleged securities violations, which is insane, related to crypto listings and custodian operations. I just want everyone to know, as a person who's been a bank coin enthusiast, and we have dealt with the SEC and other regulatory agencies extensively, they don't care about reality or logic. I just want you to know that they don't. Like, you can have this, and this is definitely, it should be in a logical world, in a realistic world, this should be significant. But to them, I don't think they care at all. Listen, this is the same agency where a judge said XRP in and of itself is not a security. This is the same agency that pretty much stuck his fingers in his ear and went, la, 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 la. I didn't hear that. La, 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 la. XRP still a security. La, la, against a judge. So it just gives you an idea. I wanted to paint that picture. It just gives you an idea of who you're going up against and who you're dealing with. Get ready to fight. Don't hope and pray that the bully goes away. The boogeyman is going to be right there. Get ready to fight the boogeyman. I'm dead serious. So I'm just saying, it's good to be excited, but just know they're coming no matter what. Once they decide that they're going to attack you, that's what's going to happen. But anyway, the US SEC is expected to provide its final ruling on VanEck Spot Ether ETF request on March 23rd and rule on the conversion of Grayscale's ETH fund by June 18th. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. Hopefully it goes well, although analysts predict approval odds below 35%. I would agree with that. The regulator's case for classifying Ether as a security instrument has weakened. Once again, they don't care. They're coming. It's all bully tactics and a money grab. They want money. They want you to fold like they've done a lot of other crypto companies. It's a money grab. All of these top cryptos are doing a good job, in my humble opinion. And according to lawyers from Harvard, as well as, some of these Bankcoin companies, they've been above board and trying to work and complying. They even brought in former members of the Fed who work with companies like Ripple, who literally specialize in compliance. And it didn't matter. You see, this is who you're dealing with. All right. But, shout out to Ethereum, and I hope they do a good job. I want all of crypto to move forward. And, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but hopefully the future remains bright. It looks bright right now, and people will make a lot of money and save money. Save money. I'm all about saving money. I want to put that out there. There's so many people that put out the energy of spend money. You you want to buy a couple of houses or buy a mansion or a Lambo. Listen, I'm all about preserving value, period. They want to have, listen, hey, you do what you want to do. I'm just saying. I like to save capital. So I'm just going to keep it real with you. It's funny. I used to, I remember I worked at a company when I was real young. I had just gotten out of college and, or I was in like my last year of college. And, I actually went to work with one of my professors who was super duper cool. I had done a project that he was really, really impressed by, and we always had good discourse. And so anyway, he invited me over to his company, and I'm over there. I'm doing some work at his company, and he was well off. Let's just say he was well off, right? But he didn't drive an expensive looking car. He didn't dress like he was well off. He was the most humble individual, but he would save value, so he could take vacations anytime he wanted. He lived good. His children, he's helping his children start businesses. And I watched that and observed that at a young age. You know what I mean? And I was like, I like that. Like that's more along the lines of how I like to behave. So, and what that does is it keeps you from ever having to have a financial worry. Where a lot of people run their money down. They do. They get thousands, they get millions, and they run their money down quickly. And it's a scramble again. Why scramble your entire life? But you have to have that discipline about yourself to not buy everything expensive, not worry about what the world thinks about you, that you have to shine every second of every day to impress external people who really don't care about you anyway. They're not going to help you if you burn your money down. No, you save your value. Save your value, live well, and make sure your future is 100% secure, locked up, locked down. That's what I support, that type of mentality, Anyway, here we go again. Some more bank news. I hope people, if you're using these banks and you have any type of serious capital in there, I hope you're checking your accounts. Now, we've talked about Wells Fargo problems there, Bank of America problems there, which I hate saying that because they're one of us. They're one of our banks, one of the banks that loves the bank coins. We talk about a cadre of banks with problems, and now we're back to JP Morgan. This article is titled $22,000 disappears from JP Morgan Chase account after customer reports suspicious activity. Now, bank says reimbursement is not happening. Let's read it. I was going to go off a little bit, but I'm not. I'm going to contain myself. See, it's just choice. It says an Ohio family says a single phone call led to thousands of dollars being drained from their JP Morgan Chase account. We just read about 3 of these types of things happening at Wells Fargo past week. JP Morgan Chase account, and Chase says they're on the hook for it. Here's the thing I don't like. These banks are not taking any measures to prevent these types of things. Why is it that criminals can clone what you do so easily? You, as an institution, if you want these clients, if you want to stay with you, if you want them to not pull their deposits out and go to money market funds and CD accounts with non-banking financial institutions, if you want them not to go to Bitcoin, then you, as a bank, as a company, need to have measures in place where there's something maybe encrypted. There's something maybe where it's unique unto you that identifies when one of your people call customers, and it lets them know this is legit. Right now, you don't have that. That's why this is happening. That's not on the customer. That's on you. That's on you, in my humble opinion. But it says this. The Calista family says they recently received a phone call from what was allegedly Chase, notifying them of suspicious activity. This is reported by News 5 Cleveland. Michelle Calista says whoever was on the other line sounded legitimate. Once again, banks, why don't you have something in place that verifies 100% that it's your people? How is anyone to know your people from these scammers? Good question, right? It says, and somehow knew much of her personal information. How do they have her personal information? What leaks do you have? Have you been reporting your leaks? Because all of you banks have been getting hacked. See, professionals like myself, we know that. But the regular customers don't know that. Their information is floating around out there, and the banks aren't notifying them immediately. It's taking months before they notify people. A lot of banks, not all of them. It's taking months for them to notify people that their information is out there on the dark web. Yeah, see? So how did they get her information, JP? I'm just asking questions. That's all. It says they even knew her transaction history. Quote, I never thought I would be a victim of fraud just because I know better. How did they get into my account to begin with? How did they know my transactions? And how were they able to transfer money? And I'm going to say this. I'm just parrying this on from articles that we read, a bevy of articles where employees, sometimes even executives from these banks, are the ones who are stealing from the customers. We read those articles. Yeah. So I don't put that out of question. It says none of those things have been answered yet, unquote. The person told Michelle that someone was trying to wire money to Florida. Meanwhile, her husband, Mike, called Chase on his own to confirm that there was a real emergency. And the bank confirmed that fraud attempts were indeed taking place. However, confirming the fraud with Chase employees was apparently not enough to stop the scammer on the phone from accessing the Calista's money. Mike says there were 2 unsuccessful wire attempts from their bank account, which is when Chase should have frozen the funds. However, that did not happen. And on the 3rd attempt, $22,000 disappeared. Poof, gone forever. And the bank saying, hey, you're on the hook for that. Oh, banking system. I don't know how you're not understanding why there is massive deposit flight, people ripping their money out and going elsewhere. Yeah, because we work too hard to play around with money. We work too hard to have the money easily stolen from somewhere that is supposed to be secured. New financial system coming in hot. A new financial system where the people will custody their own value and lock that up nice and tight. And it'll be streamlined. They need to make sure everything is streamlined, easy to use for regular retail. And then they will lock it up like Fort Knox on air-gapped cold wallets that do not touch the internet. So your crypto is never to be accessed by anybody except you. Your value, not crypto. Let's take that word away. Your value, because that's how you got to talk to regular people. They don't want to hear crypto. They just want to hear value. Your value is locked up like Fort Knox. That's what the people want. That's what the people need. That's what the new financial system brings to the table. Just one thing. Just one. But hopefully we will get there. We're making lots of progress. All right. So now we're not going to be able to get these last 3 articles in. Let's choose one. There's something about crypto firms and a market structure. We have BRICS Nation. That's the China information. So we could do commodities, seems pretty serious, and BRICS Nation. Let's close out with BRICS Nations today, because this is pretty significant. Not all BRICS Nation activity is significant to me. They have a lot to prove, but this here could be significant. So this article is titled, BRICS China dumps the largest U.S. treasuries in history. BRICS member China dumped a record number of U.S. treasuries and agency debt bonds worth a staggering $53.3 billion. Historically, this is the largest sell-off initiated by China ever recorded and occurred during the first quarter of 2024. The sell-off data comes at a time when the U.S. dollar fell to its 1-month low at 104.20. China and other BRICS countries have been offloading U.S. treasuries worth billions since 2022. The communist country, I don't know why that's significant, but okay, has a record of dumping the highest in the last 2 years. Like, why do they slide stuff in there? Like, I just need to know the information. I need to know the data, because with offloading U.S. treasuries and dollar dumping, of course, I, as an individual, need to know if all that money at some point gets to a point where those dollars start to come back home, and then that can trigger hyperinflation. That's why I need to know. I don't need to know their background, if they're communist, socialist, Democrat, Republican. I don't need to know that stuff. I'm just saying, just my humble opinion. I'm about raw information and data, no distraction. It says, the development indicates that BRICS and other developing countries want to move away from owning U.S. assets in their reserves. Well, it's not just them. We just read an article yesterday about France wanting to join them. And France made their own statements last year about, how did they phrase it? I'm going to paraphrase, but they said something like some European countries may need to step back from the dollar. What? Correct me if I'm wrong. France is not a developing country. And if we are to believe the verbiage coming out of BRICS nations, they said there's more European countries that are interested in joining BRICS. So they're not developing countries. So let's be a little bit more balanced here and stay up to date on this type of information if you're going to be putting out info about this. Just my humble opinion. No disrespect. The uncontrolled debt of $34 trillion in the U.S. is worrisome, making BRICS rely on local currencies and not the dollar. No. I'm not going to agree to that. No, they're not worried about the U.S. debt. That's an excuse. They don't want the U.S. dollar because the U.S. dollar is a control mechanism. Simple as that. And they want control. It's not like they're innocent victims either. No, none of these governments are. They all are in a power struggle. That's all it's about. And right now, the main mode of battle, for lack of a better word, I can't say certain things on YouTube, but the main mode of battle is economic. It's through currency. There's a currency battle going on. Simple as that. It's not because they're worried about the U.S. debt or any of that. But yeah, that's a good try. Good try with that little bit of, shaking that you try to do right there. The little misdirection there. It says this shows that even European nations. Oh, wait. In addition, even close allies of the U.S. So Belgium dumped $22 billion worth of treasuries during the same period. Now that's significant. Why was that not being reported? See, there's a lot of manipulation going on. They've been reporting on a lot of BRICS nations dumping U.S. treasuries, but why not Belgium? This is the first time I'm hearing about that. And let me tell you, folks, every single morning I wake up, I get to researching early. I'm up early in the morning. And I'm reading article after article after article. I'm searching for things. And this is the first time I'm hearing about this. Now, granted, I can't read everything. I can't hear everything. But this is so significant. This should have been top-notch news. But all right, I'm going to look a little bit deeper into that. Belgium dumped $22 billion worth of treasuries. Interesting. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with this. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.